Hi, I'm Sujantra, and we're here today with Amy Caldwell, who is a yogi. She and her husband own a yoga studio here in San Diego, which they opened in 2002. And Amy is also going to be one of the lead teachers at the upcoming Festival of Yoga here in San Diego. So welcome to the show,
Thank
Amy.
you.
And tell me a little bit about how you got going, how you got started in yoga. I know that you were working in the music industry in LA. You and your husband took a trip in the late 90s, and what happened that changed things?
A lot. I mean, their change is constant, but that was a very big change for us. We'd gone to school in Los Angeles and graduated from college and worked in the music business, and then just decided that it wasn't really fulfilling us in the way that we kind of had hoped, and wanted to seek out other ways of living and being in the world. And so went on quite a big adventure. What started off to be 1 year, ended up being 3 years.
Wow,
and during that time, we picked apples in Australia, and we bartended. We did whatever we had to be able to earn enough money to keep traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And we were really fortunate that while we were picking apples, we stumbled upon a book, Fit for Life, that had a very small chapter on yoga in it. And like so many individuals, that's how it all began for us, really, was just this little experience out of a book, laying on the floor, doing a few spinal twists, cat-cow. And it was amazing how even at that simple experience was so powerful. And then we just kept meeting these great individuals through our travels. It was like the universe kind of opened up, and there's lots of synchronicity of meeting people that had also just discovered yoga or had things that they wanted to share, and continued that journey to India, and then had a really powerful experience with great teachers there as well.
So the whole journey ends, it gets you to India.
Yes.
And that's where you meet some of the, you mentioned in your book in your writings, a number of influential teachers, and that's where you encountered them and practiced. And
Yes. So my husband was fortunate to discover Vipassana meditation there. And while he was doing that, I lived in Mysore and studied at the palace with another Ashtanga teacher named BNS Iyengar, which is really confusing because it's the same name, of
close
course,
to BKS.
But he taught at the Mysore Palace, and it was really great. So I did that every day for a month there. And then we rejoined in Varanasi and lived with the family, and just had a really great experience. So when we came back, we didn't know what we were going to do, and we'd been living in LA. So we ended up in San Diego because his parents had an opportunity for us to stay here, and then just started teaching yoga in the park.
Oh, that's how you got started, yoga in the park.
Yes.
And then that blossomed into the beautiful Yoga One.
That's right.
And was that scary, opening a yoga studio? Was it exciting? Did you guys know what you were getting into, or?
No. Did you? I mean, I don't know if we can know. No, it's funny. We had said that we were going to maybe wait till we retired, and that would be something. We were passionate about the practice and felt like there was so much power and positivity in it, but we really didn't think it was sustainable as a lifestyle. So I was just teaching and working part-time on the side, as my husband was doing as well. And an opportunity again arose. Somebody approached us to say, hey, would you like to take over this space?
Oh.
So we weren't really looking for it, but the classes were growing, and it just felt like the right thing to do at that time. So yeah, in 2002, we ended up taking on the lease and opening the space downtown.
And what do you say to young people you meet who look at you and see a life full of yoga? What advice would you give someone who would like to do what you're doing, open a studio or have yoga be their full-time experience and full-time livelihood?
I try to be as honest as possible about all things, of course, and I would say that it is inspiring and a great opportunity to, at the end of every day, feel good about what you do. I would also say that it's challenging.
Right.
Financially, it's challenging, and there's a lot of things that it's a business like anything else. So you still have to, manage employees and the internet and the website and customer relations and all of that. I mean, anything that you would do for a regular business, you have to do for a yoga studio as well. But I wouldn't change it for the world, and I'm really thankful to be on this path.
Yeah, I've always liked what Joseph Campbell said about when giving advice to young people, talk about following your bliss.
Yes.
So to find out what's truest in your heart and follow that. And it sounds like that's what you've done with your yoga studio.
Yes, and I definitely would encourage anyone to do the same. And I think that just really looking at all that we do as an opportunity for that bliss, right? So to listen to your heart and I've been thinking a lot lately about how yoga empowers us to not escape from the hard things in our life, but to really be with him, right? To be fully present and be empowered by the opportunity to grow.
Right. And I saw a picture of you leading a yoga session on, I think it was the USS Midway here in San Diego, and it was to raise funds for something. And so that's a dimension of yoga you often don't hear about. So you think about yoga as people making themselves healthier, but this is an event you did for others through yoga. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so we have been fortunate to partner with the Downtown San Diego Partnership, and what they're doing is offering free classes around downtown San Diego to everyone. So it's a great place for people maybe that haven't had the opportunity or can't afford to come to a yoga studio and take classes, to just try it at the local parks downtown. And this particular event was in conjunction with Scripps Health to raise awareness for all level of practitioner and human beings to come together in a way to celebrate health and wellness.
And now your studio opened in 2002, so one of the earlier studios around, it's mushroomed quite a bit, but how have you seen yoga change in San Diego over all these years since first opening?
Yes, I could ask you that as well, I'm sure. But yes, there's been a lot of change, and I think that for us, it's been a really interesting process because we very much want to stay sort of true to our roots, like what you just said about Joseph Campbell, and following our bliss and finding that balance of being authentic yogis in our teaching, in our studio ownership, in our life with our kids and our family, and how to do that. Yeah, so I think that yoga has gotten really more and more commercial.
Right.
But at the same time, the positive is we've always said the more people that are aware and practicing yoga, the better.
Right.
So I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, that moment you experience in Shavasana or anywhere in your yoga practice, that is an uber powerful gateway. And so all the rest of it doesn't really matter that much. So I'm really glad that it's growing the way that it is.
Yeah, I went to an event my dad goes to every year recently where it's an Irish event celebrating St. Patrick's Day. It's a big high society thing in San Francisco, tables of 10 people. And, they're older people or from different stratas of society, but because I introduced myself owning yoga studios, and every single person at the table had some connection with yoga. Right. Either they were thinking about it or their daughter does it, and so yoga is everywhere now.
It is. I just had a conversation this morning with some guys that were doing some work on the street out in front of our house, and they were really fascinated, and it's amazing. You can give them a couple tips.
Right.
Hey, try this laying down. They were talking about back pain or problems or whatever. Or, hey, just take a silent moment in the transitions between your house and your car, and take a deep breath. And it can be anything, right?
Yeah.
And it can be everywhere.
Yeah. And now, there's an upcoming festival here in San Diego celebrating the United Nations International Day of Yoga. So the United Nations has proclaimed June 17th, International Day of Yoga. And you're going to be leading the main class there in the afternoon. So can you describe to us a little bit what the class is going to be like, what you'll be offering?
I never know exactly until I get there. But, my general plan is always to create and hold a space for people to feel their best. So that it'll be a coming together, again, a reminder that we're all in this together, and a place for people to practice at whatever level they are. So it'll be completely friendly for beginners, and I hope to offer options and modifications for people with a more regular practice to go deeper into that experience as they feel would best serve them. And
it's going to be really exciting because there's going to be 500 people. And it'll be a real powerful yogic journey.
Yes, I think that ability to come together in this way, it's really great what you're doing, thank you, to bring people, again, into that space of remembering that, we're all one. And it's not that we have to change anything or really do anything at all, except remember that it's already the truth. So hopefully the class will empower everyone in attendance and to really feel that sense of community and togetherness.
Good, that'll be exciting. And then, so you run a yoga studio, you teach yoga, your mother, wife. How do you turn to yoga yourself as a place to recharge yourself, or how do you recharge after giving off all this energy?
Yes, I definitely do. I always say, thank goodness. I cannot even imagine really being who I am without it. It's such a powerful tool. So this morning I rolled out my yoga mat in the living area after the kids left for school at 7 in the morning. And a lot of times that's what the practice looks like for me. And I set my timer on my phone for an hour, and it's just, it's a time for me to reconnect to inner listening and that truth within, so that I can keep coming back to it throughout the day. And sometimes it's just, a quote or sharing with the kids or deep breaths. My son, who's just turned 9, says, "Mom, maybe now would be a good time for a deep breath." Life can be pretty full, let's say abundant in the positivism. But so yeah, deep breaths on a regular basis.
And then at this point in your journey, so you started in 97, so you're coming up to the 20-year mark of practicing yoga. What in your own personal practice, is it primarily asana? Do you bring in some pranayama, meditation? What has yoga become for you? What kind of type of practice?
Yeah, I guess, really for me, Sujantra, I think that it's trying to come back to like being present on a moment-to-moment basis. So certainly asana, pranayama, meditation, and some chanting support that. But I think, more and more, it's like just feeling my feet on the ground or my seat in the chair and noticing my breath as we talk. And, trying to just, one of my teachers says, arrive in the present where we already are, on a moment-to-moment basis.
Oh, that's nice. Arrive in the present where we already are. And if people want to connect with you through social media or through the web, et cetera, what are your social media handles, et cetera?
Thank you. The yoga studio is yoga1sandiego.com, and that's true for Facebook and Instagram as well.
So Yoga One, spelt out, O-N-E.
Yes.
Okay.
Sandiego.com.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
And then I also read in your bio about something you created on Apple iTunes or something that was doing what? Do you want to mention that one?
Sure. I was hired by a company called 3D for Medical, and they're doing really cool medical technology apps. And so this particular app is iYoga Premium, and what it does is it shows about 150 asanas, and then what a physical therapist friend and myself went through and showed what muscles were contracting and stretching as they fired through the transitions of each posture.
Wow.
So it's pretty educational. It's super cool technology, and then it has a guided voiceover as well. So if you prefer to just turn off the visual and just listen to a practice, you can move things around, create your own sequences.
Oh, nice. And now can you say the name of the app again?
iYoga Premium.
I as in I, just the dot.
Yes.
iYoga Premium.
Yes.
Okay, good. So as someone who has your own yoga practice and you have a yoga studio, do you think there's a greater role that yoga is emerging into in our culture? So a lot of people get into yoga for themselves and to feel better or look better. But do you, as a studio owner and someone who's very involved in yoga, do you see something else occurring, something deeper in our culture through yoga?
I hope so. That's a tough question. On one hand, I think, what Mahatma Gandhi said is, be the change you wish to see in the world.
Right.
So on one hand, I feel like it could be that simple, right? If we all live from a place of recognition of that oneness, that we're all in this together, that in and of itself might be enough. But having said that, of course, there are actions and causes that can be taken to better our communities, better the world. I'm still at a place right now personally where I'm very much immersed in trying to better the community. So thinking of my personal seva or karma as being a studio owner and raising the kids and creating a community of family and friends and support around the studio and our family to just be the best individuals we can be in this world. However, I think that a time will come for me personally when maybe there's a little more free time in my life where I personally would want to branch out and make some more significant action without, outside of the community. But I think that the people that are doing these amazing, powerful events to raise funds or awareness on behalf of so many peoples that can benefit from it is inspiring and awesome.
Oh, good. And interesting, you mentioned raising your children. So as you and your husband both being yogis, owning the yoga studio, is there anything kind of unique or that you're doing with your children to help them connect with yoga or that deeper spirit? Like, do you teach them yoga? Do they do breathing exercises? Do they have a certain diet? Do they watch television? Or how's your yoga affected your raising of the kids?
I'm not a huge kirtan person, but I do know, maybe 5 to 10 chants. And so when they were babies, and still now occasionally if they let me because they're getting older, but every now and then they'll say, "Hey Mom, can you sing a chant for me before bed?" So those were their bedtime lullabies.
Oh, nice.
And then nicely now they'll ask, what does that mean? So we just I think a lot of it's about having conversations, right? Like this, which is great, I think, and that's one of the joys of being a studio owner, is just bringing people together to have real conversations about how we're living in this world and how can we do it in a way that supports, like you said, our health and wellness, but the health and wellness of all the people that we come in contact. It could be super brief, right? Just like a minute interaction with someone, or it can be something more big and noticeable like an event. But in both situations, I think just really trying to raise them to have that awareness of interconnectivity. And that can include some deep breaths and stretching and things like that. But I think really what I hope to offer them and the students that I teach as well is that present moment awareness and how to inhabit and be here fully with a sense of joy and peace.
It's when I offer a meditation class each week, and I meet a lot of young people who are in their 20s, early 20s, and they just want to learn to meditate because when they grew up, their parents meditated.
Yes.
And at the time, they didn't really give it a lot of importance, but now as they're getting a little older, they're remembering how peaceful their parents were when they were meditating, and so now they want to learn. So it's nice to see this next generation growing up with it.
I think that those seeds are really being planted.
The
and
seeds.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. We've been doing a teacher training course at San Diego State University with a lot of very young students like that, and I've been really impressed with their openness and receptivity and desire to learn more and share more. It's great.
And so you mentioned teacher training. Is that one of your passions? Is the training of teachers, or do you like teaching the classes, or or you like doing all of it?
I do like doing all of it. I mean, I think that this class at the festival is going to be amazing because that kind of, again, power energy of community and coming together is so awesome. The regular classes are great because you have a relationship with students and you can help and get to know them over time. The teacher trainings are a deepening of that, and I think that where I am with my teaching, I mean, I really love the nuance and the detail, and so to be able to delve into that in a 5-hour format rather than an hour and 15-minute format, that is really empowering as a teacher to have all that kind of space and attention from the students to really explore. And I always learn so much from
learn by teaching.
Yes.
Yeah. So at the upcoming festival, you're going to be offering one of the 2 big group classes. Yours is in the afternoon, and can you tell us a little bit about what that class is going to be?
Yes, it is going to be an all levels class that is appropriate for everybody. So beginners, intermediate, experienced practitioners, there'll be something for everyone. We'll make sure to keep everyone safe. It's the first ethical precept of yoga, right? Is ahimsa. And I love the definition of loving kindness. So I think that concept of loving kindness will definitely be a part of the theme of the class, and also that we're all in this together. But there'll be something for everyone. We'll move, we'll breathe, we'll celebrate togetherness and the practice of yoga.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Amy, for joining us.
Thank you.
Very nice having you.
Oh, yeah, you too.
So this is Sujantra, and we are very excited to have had Amy here today and really enjoyed talking to her about yoga, about opening a yoga studio, and all the facets of her life that have connected into yoga.